How to set up for Continentals.
Continentals. I was recently asked by a DryFire user how is the best way to set up DryFire so that he could practice Continentals. So he directed me to their website. I'm showing you their website. And then it was quite easy to set up DryFire. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to do this. In order to simulate Continentals on the DryFire system, I'm going to use the wobble trap layout. Now basically the wobble trap layout is on the same field construction as ATA trap. The difference being that the trap thrower is capable of changing the vertical climb to the target while simultaneously changing the horizontal. Now within Continentals, their specifications are as follows. The target may go as far as 45 degrees to the left or 45 degrees to the right. The target may be launched as low as 4.5 feet and on up to 13.5 feet. And that's considered at the ATA intermediate point, which is 10 yards straight out from the trap house. And the final thing is that the target speed is in the vicinity of 50 miles an hour to 54 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set up the wobble trap and get all of those parameters so that it will be the proper way of practicing Continentals. One final thing. In Continentals, you're going to be standing back 17 yards instead of 16 yards, and I'll show you how to make that change also. Now let's take a look at what we need to do. We're going to start by bringing in the Trap American Wobble layout, which I already have in. Once you have that loaded, you're going to go to Setup. Then you're going to come down to ATA Trap Settings. And once we get into ATA Trap Settings, you're seeing that it's a little more complicated than it was for the normal ATA targets because this is wobble trap. So what did we say earlier that we needed to change this to? We have to make the trap angle 45 degrees. That's simple. We need to come down to the vertical controls that we have, and we want to make the minimum height 4.5 feet, and we want the maximum height to be 13.5. Now that takes care of 2 of the 4 factors. Now the next factor is how do we get the targets, which in normal ATA trap are launched at about 42 miles an hour, how do we get them to fly 50 to 54 miles an hour? And the answer to that is that we're going to go up here to the one called throw distance, and we're going to launch the target farther. And I've done some experimentation, and all you need to do is put in 68 yards here. If you put it in at 68 yards, then as you watch the launch speed of these targets, which can be as low as 4.5 feet and as high as 13.5 feet, and you'll find that the launch speed varies between 50 and 54 miles an hour. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is just going to say click an OK on that. And the final thing that you need to do is you need to be able to stand at the 17-yard line. And if you'll recall, we changed the yard lines by going up here to the pencil underneath shooter. And when that opens, we have this area that says ATA handicap. If you click on this window and open it, you'll see that every yardage between 16 and 27 is available. And because the Continental rules specify that you're going to be standing at the 17-yard line, all we need to do is click on 17 yards. We're then going to come down and click on OK, and there you are. Isn't that simple? Nothing to set up and do Continentals. Well, I hope that helps.